talked a lot about feeling like something was off, something wasn't right, you couldn't figure it out. That's not what this is. This is just...
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's hard to analyze football because I was telling somebody, we're 2 points away from being 3-1. Mm-hmm. We're also 2 points away from being 1-3. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So it's just, I mean, it's like I said, Scott's, all of his a million, things that he sends out. The one that's kind of interesting that 44% of our games, is that right, Scott? 45% of our games are one possession games. I mean, we've always, like somebody asked, what happened? You lost to SMU. Like, we barely beat them last year. We kicked the field goal as the game was expiring. You know what I mean? So it's always like that for us. I don't think it'll ever change. We got better players, but so does everybody else. And so we're just a little bit off, but I don't think it's anything to panic about. Be honest with you, I'd rather us, last year we started off 5-0 and kind of went like this.
Right.
I'd kind of rather go the other way. So,
yeah, right.
So hopefully this game will be a game, that we can play our best game, and that's the hope.
So on that note, though, what you were saying about 45% of games are one possession, that's why you can't afford to give up a kickoff return for a touchdown or have a penalty that wipes out a touchdown.
Normally, like I said, instead of it being 14-3 and we're right in our wheelhouse, maybe we can play where we can execute. Then we're kind of a little bit stretching a little bit and doing certain things. And so, those are the things that we got to eliminate. And our guys recognize that's who we are. We're the Naval Academy. We're never as big as anybody. But playing Air Force, we're similar. Mm-hmm. And so, we're similar guys. We're both tough kids, disciplined kids. And, it's always a dogfight against them.
What's Zach Ade's status? Still questionable?
Still questionable.
When you're talking about making sure everyone's executing, does that make it harder that you guys are having to adjust around him potentially not being available like he would be normally?
We definitely would wish he was here, but we'll just adjust. He's done a really good job. I think Zach's had a really good season. He's played as well as anybody in our team, not just offense. And, obviously knowing if we knew for sure he'd be available, it definitely helped us, but, we just press forward.
Does that change Malcolm's preparation this week?
Some, and also with Garrett, it's just both of them, just with some of the things that we would like to have done with Zach, maybe we can't do it or we stay away from it. So we're just trying to see where we're at. But these last 2 weeks, I like what we're doing.
Well, as I say, you've had a 2-week preparation, which is nice. You're able to get exams out of the way. Do you like where your team's at? Here we are on Wednesday, 2 days before you fly out. Do you like where they are?
Well, we don't have any excuses. We had a week to get rested up. It was a physical game against SMU. We lost a lot of guys, but we got, time to get healed for the most part. We got our exams out of the way. Just go play now. There's no excuses. We'll be as ready as we will ever be.
All right. And the Commander-in-Chief's trophy, obviously the first leg, and you talk about that, and you haven't had the Trophy in a couple years now. I think Air Force won in 2016, Army last year. Navy would like to get it back.
Yeah, and it all starts with this game, obviously. Obviously you got to win the one at the end, but if you win the one, you got to win this one first. And so our guys recognize how important the Commander-in-Chief trophy is for our program, for our goals, our number one goal in our program. And, we're going to do our best to try to come back with a W.
I've noticed Dalen Morris was working with the scout team a little bit. Do you think to give them a better look, to have a guy like Dalen who's a big, strong guy, maybe resembles some of those Air Force quarterbacks a little bit?
Definitely. He's given us a great look, but, very similar to those guys. Strong arm, strong runner, big kid, and gives us a great look there.
Right, but normally he's over on this side,
yes.
Right. So it's just, that is a bit of a change this week.
So you actually do watch practice? I don't know if you just came and looked at the sailboats or something.
I'd get on my cell phone and all that. And I meant to ask you that. He got in the end of the game against Lehigh.
Both.
Yeah, and that too. How is Dalen coming along?
Oh, he's coming. But you don't get the amount of reps that the starters do, but he's always progressing, and the future is bright for him.
You're captain. What this rivalry game means to you?
Probably the biggest game on our, one of them on our schedule, because it just means so much to us and the program in general, being that it's one step in front, towards that Commander-in-Chief trophy, and we need to bring it back. It's been a minute since we had it here, and it's always a big game though. Everybody gets all crazy over there in the hall. You got all old heads coming back, always talking about their time here, and back when they were playing, they were with the leather helmets and they were punching each other, fighting each other. So it's a good game now.
Well, I was just say you haven't had the Commander-in-Chief's Trophy since 2015. Air Force had 2016. Army now has it. So that is got to be a serious motivation as a senior. This is your last shot to get that thing back here.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a motivation right now, especially being the one who's seen those 2 losses now from both Air Force and Army. It's not a good feeling, especially just sitting there on the sidelines. We think we're doing the right thing now, and we think we're on the right track to get it back this year.
We've been hearing a lot from the coaches about consistency as an offensive guy. What does that mean to you? How do you make sure that's happening in practice, especially with the execution?
I would definitely say just the consistency of just protecting the ball, because if you look back at all the games that we've played with these guys in Army, it's really what it comes down to. There usually isn't too many crazy plays, new offenses. You don't see anybody doing some crazy stuff, maybe 1 or 2, but it really comes down to just the possession of the ball. And I know with us, we've really honed in on trying to just make sure we don't give it up as an offense, at least, because it will determine the game.
I know you're used to these games and these weeks where you do have a lot of alumni coming back and everything like that, but you've got a lot of young guys out there. Do you make sure that they stay focused in practice and that they're thinking about execution and not worried about everything that's going on around?
Yeah, to be honest, the way I look at it, it's just another football game. Obviously, when you look at it and you watch it, it's totally different. It's a bigger game, a lot more weight on it because of the Commander-in-Chief Trophy and all the old heads that come through. But the way I look at it is they just got to look at it just like another game. You got to take each day best we can, practice the best we can, and the best we can do is just come out and be the best. I know that was a lot right there.
They're gonna be mad for you calling them old heads so much. Oh my goodness.
No, the old guys, because they've done a lot more than we have, and God bless them for everything they have done, because I know they didn't have anything like this with a nice Ricketts building and nice weight room. They said they all had like a basement of some kind of crazy building in here.
You guys have it easy. What are you talking about?
No, exactly. It's as every other class says, they all had the real last plebe summer. So
cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
This is the last go-round for the Commander-in-Chief Trophy. It's one of the more personal games during the year. Coming into this game, there's not a lot of explaining that needs to do as far as how serious it is and what it means to this program. So the only focus is bringing this last one home.
Well, you're probably one of the few seniors that played varsity as a freshman the last time Navy won the Commander-in-Chief's Trophy. You probably figured you have it here more than you had. What can you talk about the importance of getting that thing back to Annapolis? This is your last chance to do so.
As far as what we want to do, we just want to replicate the process that we had when we were successful. You just try to emulate success as best as you can. So as far as it being the last go-round, it doesn't need to be much more emphasis than that. It's just another game on the schedule, but this one, hits close to home.
So Coach has talked about trying to put together a complete game because he doesn't feel like you've played a full 60-minute game. Can you talk about it? Really, that's the key to this one. You got to finally put together the best game of the season.
Just like every week, you want to play to your max potential. With the talent that we have on this team and then the things that we can execute, we feel like we just haven't played our best game yet. So we always think to, raise our ceiling, raise our threshold. So that's all we're just trying to do every week. Keep improving on the things that we saw last week, but it's going to be a long season, and we're just trying to keep reaching that ceiling.
So you and Garge as captains, anything that you send to the younger guys who've never been part of this?
Just same thing, preparation. It's a different game, but it's the same game. It's still a football, still 11 people on each side, and the keys are still the same. What you got a key for on defense, what you got a block for on offense, what you're looking to do with the turnovers, winning the turnover battle. All of it, just simplifying the game and focus on the